tonight's headlines. Top Beijing official in charge of Hong Kong affairs exchanges views with the legal sector on Article 23 legislation. Transitional housing projects in remote areas a tough sell for tenants regardless of their cheap rents, according to a survey. And Donald Trump is one step closer to securing the Republican nomination for the November presidential race.
To alleviate hardships of the underprivileged, the government has commissioned a number of transitional and light public housing projects across Hong Kong. While the units are cheap and practical, many remain vacant long after the project began inviting applications. The Society for Community Organization, or SOCO, says that transport and location are key in luring tenants, even if they stay for relatively short terms. The group surveyed 345 households living in temporary or inadequate housing units between November and last month. Around 40% of respondents said they would not consider moving into transitional homes in the new territories. This could prove to be a problem, as only 3 out of 8 sites earmarked by the government for the upcoming light public housing projects are in urban areas. Staying in a convenient location is especially important for families with children, SOCO added, as they have to consider schooling arrangements.
If they have the children, they're concerned about their children, they can change the school to go to that area. Otherwise, the transportation, whether it's easy for them, and the cost of the transportation also they're concerned about.
She urged authorities to consider adding ancillary facilities near projects in remote districts, such as supermarkets and clinics, or offer shuttle buses to the town center. But one project certainly doesn't require such bells and whistles. Situated right next to Wong Tai Sin MTR station, Hoyit Home offers 227 units of around 150 to 200 square feet. The project is run by charity group Sik-Sik-Yun, and the first batch of tenants have already moved in last month. Janice Low, Cable News. It is Sunday, but Sha Kowloon had no time to rest in his week-long visit of Hong Kong. It was business as usual for the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office Director, who sat down with legal sector representatives for talks at government headquarters this afternoon. Speaking after the meeting, Bar Association Chairman Victor Dawes confirmed that the Article 23 legislation was on the agenda. He told Sha that there are different views in society and described the exchange as constructive and candid. Law Society President Chan Chak-ming said he felt Sha cared about the legal sector, as well as the city's position as an international city. Earlier this morning, the top Beijing official in charge of SAR matters had more dim sums at a Wong Tai Sin restaurant. He spent roughly an hour for breakfast. This customer, who managed to catch a glimpse of Sha, said he was very surprised. "I'm very happy to see him. Sha is really friendly," she added. The director's next stop was the first community living room in Sham Shui Po. The government project offers shared dining spaces as well as study areas for school children. Labour Minister Chris Sun was there to greet the official. He said Sha gave his approval for the concept as it addresses the many challenges faced by tenants of subdivided units. The director returned to Tema for a 2.5-hour meeting with media representatives in the afternoon. Chief Executive John Lee also joined the session. Sha wrapped up his day with a visit to police headquarters in Wan Chai. Janice Low, Cable News. With the budget just days away, the financial minister has drummed up hype by unveiling the color of his blueprint this year. A photo on his official website saw Paul Chan holding a copy of the speech with a nude-colored cover page. He said the color symbolized everyone's desire that Hong Kong's economy will continue to bounce back in the coming year. He blamed geopolitical tensions and the high interest rate environment for impeding recovery, but vowed to get on with it by pivoting on the mainland's development and support. Chen expressed gratitude to those who gave their views and suggestions over the past weeks. He vowed to be more focused and efficient when tapping into the public coffers, as the SAR braces for another deficit, which is expected to exceed $100 billion.
Leaders from around the world visited Kyiv to mark the second anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen was joined by the leaders of Italy, Belgium and Canada as they presented a united front in offering support against Russia.
Today, we're here to tell you that Europe will continue to stand at your side for as long as it takes, with more financial support, more ammunition, more training for your troops, more air defenses, and more investment in Europe's and Ukraine's defense industries.
The ceremony was held at Hostomel airfield, which Russian troops hoped to capture 2 years ago, but were instead met with fierce resistance. Addressing the nation at the symbolic site, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia and Putin will have to answer for all that they have done. Zelensky thanked G7 leaders in a virtual meeting for their continued support in the war effort, as roughly a quarter of Ukraine is now under Russian control. At one of the memorials in Kyiv, residents paid tribute to the tens of thousands of Ukrainians who were killed in the war. Those who lost family and friends could not hold back their tears. They also face an uncertain future as the conflict seems to be heading nowhere 2 years on. But many Ukrainians still believe they can take back the lost territory and emerge victorious if they get more ammunition, which currently is in short supply. Sachin Katvi, Cable News.
President Donald J. Trump.
Just minutes after polls closed in South Carolina, Donald Trump already took the stage to rally his rabid supporters.
This was a little sooner than we anticipated. It was an even bigger win than we anticipated. And
Trump garnered 60% of the vote in the latest presidential primary for the Republican Party. While the win was widely expected, it came at the home state of his rival, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. But in a departure from his abrasive style, Trump did not gloat or mention his last remaining Republican opponent once. Instead, he pivoted to the general election in November.
And we're going to be up here on November 5th, and we're going to look at Joe Biden, and we're going to look him right in the eye. He's destroying our country, and we're going to say, Joe, you're fired. Get out. Get out, Joe. You're fired.
Despite the setback, Haley vowed to continue fighting until the end.
There are huge numbers of voters in our Republican primaries who are saying they want an alternative. I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my word.
Over at the White House, the incumbent president made an appeal for bipartisanship during a reception of state governors.
Politics has gotten too bitter, Democrats and Republicans. Politics has gotten too personally. It just is. It's just not like it was.
Biden is currently trailing Trump by an average of 2 percentage points in nationwide polls, assuming there's a rematch of the 2020 presidential race. Raymond Yang, Cable News.
Russian authorities have finally handed over the body of opposition activist Alexei Navalny to his mother, Lyudmila Navalnaya. The delivery came with an ultimatum that she lay her son to rest within 3 hours without holding a public funeral, or else authorities would bury Navalny's body within the grounds of the prison where he died. However, Navalnaya refused to negotiate and will reportedly do things as per the wishes of her family. Navalnaya was also made to sign a death certificate confirming that her son died of natural causes, even though many regarded his death as suspicious. An outspoken critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Navalny died last Saturday while serving a 19-year sentence in a harsh penal colony inside the Arctic Circle.